Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year! It's January of 2021. Fingers crossed that this is a better year than 2020. Welcome to my monthly look at the light novel series making their debut. This month we have 6 brand new titles. I'm actually holding something in my other. That's my 5 plus 1. Anyway, so I'm going to be covering those 6 series, and this is, of course, before the month of January 2021. This is probably going to be a really busy year for light novel releases. It seems like every single year we just get more and more series released. There, of course, were a ton of announcements at the end of 2020 that will probably be coming out mid to late this year, so lots to look forward to. But let's get started with what's coming out in January. First off, getting the month started right at January 3rd from J Novel Club, we have Dungeon Busters. Clear all the dungeons. There are 666 of them, and 10 years to do it. If not, the only thing that awaits is total annihilation. Ezue Kazuhiko suddenly finds a mysterious underground space in his yard. When he steps into what turns out to be the very first dungeon in this world, he ends up activating the dungeon system, and learns from the mysterious beauty who appears to him, Akane, that the world is doomed to destruction if the 666 total dungeons that will be appearing in this world are not all cleared within 10 years. As countries begin taking measures in response to the dungeons appearing all over the world, Ezoe seeks out companions together with whom he establishes Dungeon Busters Incorporated, a company dedicated to clearing all the dungeons in the world. The curtains rise on this dungeon-delving epic with overwhelming realism. uh, Honestly, this one I think sounds pretty cool. I kind of like the idea, first of all, that the isekai comes to us. That's always kind of fun. I mean, that seemed to be more often, I think, before isekai became a bigger thing. But anyway, I do appreciate that it is set in our world, that there is kind of like a goal for internationally for the different countries. Like, the scope of this book could get really big if you consider that every country in the world is probably going to have their own team of dungeon busters. But what I think is kind of cool about this one, and having heard about it from people that have been reading it as it's been sort of published in installments on J Novel's website, is the whole aspect that there's is also a company. Like, so we're also talking about an individual who is seeking to profit from clearing these dungeons and potentially selling the items that they find and so forth, which I think adds kind of another cool dimension onto it. In fact, Mirage was laughing, saying that there's even an element about taxes and what he declares on his taxes and what he doesn't declare on his taxes based on his business dealings and what's legal and not legal when it comes to the dungeons. So it sounds like there's a whole other element to this aside from just the dungeon crawling itself. So I am looking forward to this one. I really do think this sounds kind of cool, especially if you're looking for a lot of us love those dungeon crawlers. Let's face it. I mean, D&D inspiration and all that kind of stuff, and RPGs. But having that extra element of like sort of business and that we're not just clearing the dungeons because we want to get rich, but also because if we don't, we're doomed. I just think this has a whole bunch of kind of cool layers to it. Then, right afterwards, on January 4th, we also from J Novel Club have our crappy social game club is gonna make the most epic game. Past trauma leads Shiroseki Kai to abandon the world of social game development, so he transfers to Maikun High School to start a new life. But on his first day, he meets Aoi Nanaka, the president of a low-tier social game club, and finds out that the club is on the brink of disbanding and is also populated by total weirdos. The programmer, Oshima Aya, is a crazed gotcha addict, and the illustrator, Kuroba Eru, faints from the cuteness of her own drawings? Kai joins the club, which gives them enough members to continue. Or so they thought. The student council hands down an ultimatum: win a competition against another school or disband. Now their management talents will really be put to the test. With the skills that he's nurtured and his new set of friends, can Kai face his fears to create the ultimate social game? So we talked a little bit about this when we were talking about Premier's social game. It basically just sounds like mobile gaming, I guess, with sort of like online elements and stuff like that. I think it was Mirage was kind of saying it seems like it's a slightly alt reality where this is sort of a common thing for schools and such to be creating these type of games. So very much based in our world, but kind of with that added element that it's very common for schools to have these games and to compete against each other and that kind of thing. So again, a slice of life combined with gaming. I mean, who would have thought that could be popular? On January 14th from Cross Infinite World, we have Reset. The imprisoned princess dreams of another chance. Can magic change her future? Days before her marriage to the king of the neighboring Sonoruta kingdom, Princess Annabelle of Najir is abruptly betrayed by her fiancé and thrown into prison with her magic knight under suspicion of being a spy. After being held captive for months and informed her kingdom is no more, Annabelle passes out in a burst of destructive magic, only to awaken as her 12-year-old self 6 years before her political marriage. Armed with knowledge of the dark future to come, she now has another chance to bring about a new fate. This is the story of Princess Annabelle's second chance at life and her drive to stop the destruction of her kingdom. So, obviously, people very much comparing this to, say, Tier Moon Empire. Now, I think that this will have a slightly different slant to it, given that this is not a princess who her kingdom fell apart because of her neglect or that she died because the people actually rose up against her. I kind of wonder if this will focus a bit more on the politics between kingdoms, because clearly it seems that the person that she was betrothed to, is the kingdom that kind of, I guess, attacked hers or took over. I'm not, again, like the description is what it is, but I can see where potentially this could take a slightly different turn. Tier Moon obviously was much more about social issues because, of course, it was a people's revolt, even though it was kind of supported by another kingdom. But I mean, really, like the people revolted because of their poor health, because of famine and everything else. Whereas it sounds more like this is a political thing and almost like an invasionary type thing. So it could be a different twist to that same sort of reborn, fix things before they go wrong kind of thing. And honestly, given how good Tier Moon was, even if this is like 2/3 of the book of Tier Moon, I still think it would be a decent read. On January 19th, we get 2 new releases, these ones coming both from Yen On. The first one, kind of interesting, not a Japanese light novel, but actually a Korean light novel. I believe they have their own term for light novels in Korea, but off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is. This one quite famous. I mean, it's been translated to a number of different languages. I believe there's been English fan translations as well as a sort of web novel translation of English, which is I don't know whether that's official or not. In any case, Yen On is going to be releasing Solo Leveling, the weakest hunter of all mankind. E-rank hunter Jinwoo Sung has no money, no talent, and no prospects to speak of, and apparently no luck either. When he enters a hidden double dungeon one fateful day, he's abandoned by his party and left to die at the hands of some of the most horrific monsters he's ever encountered. But just before the last fatal blow, ping! Congratulations on becoming a player. So, Solo Leveling, as far as I understand it, the whole idea is that it in different descriptions I've read of this, it makes it sound like there were changes that were affected on our world, and some people got abilities to become what they call hunters. So essentially to deal with these dungeons and monsters and stuff like that. But the thing is that the common held belief is that your level is set. So if you're an E rank, you'll never be more than an E rank. However, what this whole ping welcome now that you're a player kind of thing is that he is allowed to level up. He can level up, hence the solo leveling. I believe this was actually previously was titled more like I alone can level up or something along those lines. Yanon's also picked up the manhwa of this one as well, so it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure whether this is indicative that they are looking at other Asian light novel type works, or whether it's just that this one's kind of a special case because of how well it's known even in the light novel community. Also on January 19th from Yen On, we have King of the Labyrinth. On the 10th floor of the Labyrinth awaits the Minotaur. Many brave adventurers have challenged this great beast. All have thoroughly failed. More, demands the powerful monster. Send me more powerful opponents. This creature blindly pursues strength at any cost. Perhaps it will even grow strong enough to surpass the rules of the labyrinth itself. Can any adventurer hope to stand against such a mighty creature? I'm really not sure as I read this description whether this is going to be a novel that focuses exclusively on the Minotaur itself and is told from the monster's point of view, or whether it is going to be told from an adventurer's point of view that's trying to overcome it. I'm really not too sure. I do know this is from the Legend novels line, which is like Cobalt King. There's a couple of other J novel. J novel picked up a couple of those titles. They seem to be aimed at a slightly older audience. They seem to be a little bit more of a more mature fantasy. Isekai Rebuilding Project was another one. So it'll be interesting to see how this one, what kind of angle this one takes. But like I said, I think you're going to find that it's slightly aimed at an older audience, that it potentially could be more violent, given that it's dealing with like a apparently very powerful minotaur that's trouncing all sorts of adventurers. They also don't have any interior artwork, which is kind of a shame because the artwork on this one is kind of neat. Like it's different compared to a lot of the other stuff that we have. I'm curious to check this one out and sort of see what it's like. It almost sounds like well, I don't want to ruin it, but a later volume of Danmachi is told from a certain point of view that I kind of get that vibe from this one. So we'll see what this one holds in store. Finally, on January 27th from J Novel Club, we have The Ideal Sponger Life. Yamai Zenjiro is your everyday office worker in modern Japan. One morning, he suddenly finds himself summoned to a tropical world where dinosaurs roam the land. He is told that this is the kingdom of Kapua, and that the person who summoned him is its monarch, Queen Aura, who wants him to marry her and leave his old life behind for a life of carefree extravagance as her prince consort. The reasons for her offer are many and varied, but she needs an heir and she wants him to be the one to provide it. If he accepts, he'll never have to work again, lazing around in luxury with no worries other than securing the kingdom its next monarch. Certainly, sleeping with the buxom beauty is far from a hardship, but is everything really as it seems? He'll also need to give up everything he knows on Earth. Is he ready to drop it all at a moment's notice for her sake? And how well will he be able to navigate the politics, people, and culture of this new world if he does? So this one has been a fairly hotly anticipated title. A lot of people have been asking for this and expecting that we would eventually get it because Seven Seas has been publishing the manga. Now, it's kind of interesting that despite the title, The Ideal Sponger Life, and the sounds that this is just going to be an easy slice of life, romancing a beauty kind of thing, apparently it does get pretty heavily into politics and dealing with this whole idea that He's an office worker who's now being asked to be a king. And even though he is mostly just a title, because of course his wife is the ruler, there is still input that he gives into how the kingdom is run. There is still uh, a role that he plays. And of course, there are a lot of people behind the scenes that are looking to try and manipulate him in his naivety and his role in order to attain more power for themselves. So it actually sounds like this one is a little bit more complex than what it initially puts itself out there to be, and apparently quite good. It's a finished series in Japan, so yeah, I mean, this one, I definitely want to check it out, as I said, just because of all the sort of positive word of mouth that I have heard about it to this point, and because, yeah, it sounds like there's a lot more to it than just some easygoing slice of life, let's hang out with my beautiful bride type stuff. So those are all the light novel series that are making their debut during the month of January 2021. Now, obviously, there's a ton of other light novels that are releasing this month, including some other volumes that are brand new series that are being released in print for the first time. They've already debuted, and I've discussed them in other videos previously when they were released in ebook, but they're getting their release in print this month. Let me see, Berserk of Gluttony is one of them. There's a couple of other ones. So make sure you head over to EnglishLightNovels.com. I'll have the link in the description down below over to the pre-orders page. You can click on January and see all the stuff that's coming out this month. In fact, I've got stuff, I've got listings for well beyond just this month if you want to check out some of the future releases that we know about. I'm constantly updating it to try and make sure that it's up to date and that the dates are correct and that we have the latest stuff on there. So again, that's EnglishLightNovels.com. It's always a good resource to check out if you're looking at what is coming up. Of course, I also have all sorts of the bibliographic information about all the series that we have available in English as well. So which series are you most interested in checking out during the month of January? Which are the ongoing series that you're hyped because there's a new volume coming out? Let me know in those descriptions down below. And again, Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much for being a part of this channel and checking out these videos. I really do appreciate it. Again, we've got some stuff coming up this year. Hopefully some new content. A lot of it light novel focused, so don't worry, the channel's not going to completely lose its focus, but looking to do a little bit of expansion into some other areas that have always intrigued me and interested me. Of course, the new host on the channel, CL, will be doing some new content that I hope that you'll check out. So far, the couple videos that she's posted, a lot of you have been very supportive and positive about, which I really appreciate. So hopefully there will be even more stuff for you to love and enjoy as the year continues, and hopefully we can get these vaccines rolling out and kind of get back to living the life. I mean, I'm not saying we should all just become careless because we got a vaccine, but I'd love to go to a convention again, honestly, so and not worry that I'm going to get sick afterwards. So I'd like to at least get back to that kind of a world. In any case, thank you again for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. I got a bunch of reviews, and I do have my top 10 of 2020. That'll actually be my next video that I post here on the channel. So I look forward to you checking that one out, and in that video, I look forward to hearing about what you loved that you read during the year of 2020. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you then. Until then, bye-bye for now.